All right, let's jump right into a really fascinating and honestly kind of counterintuitive idea. What if I told you that the chaotic, demanding, sometimes crazy world of family life, what if that isn't a distraction from your spiritual path, but is actually the perfect place to grow?
I mean, does this question hit home for you? I think for a lot of us, the answer feels like a big yes. Between work, the kids, your partner, just all the beautiful chaos of it all. It can feel like there's zero time left for yourself, let alone for any kind of spiritual practice. It can even feel like those family duties are the very things holding you back. So, this really gets to the heart of the conflict, doesn't it? On one hand, you have this popular idea of what spirituality looks like. Someone alone, maybe on a mountaintop, meditating in total silence. That's the perception. But the material we're looking at today suggests a totally different path. It says real spirituality, the path, is found right in the messy, beautiful middle of all our relationships, right in the heart of our home.
And look, this isn't just some vague, nice-sounding idea. The source text actually gives us a really clear framework for how to turn your everyday family life into a deep, profound spiritual practice. So how do we do it? Well, it all starts with a few really powerful mental shifts, a few reframes, if you will.
Okay, so our first big reframe is this. Duty is devotion. This is all about completely changing how we look at our responsibilities. It's about taking all those chores, the obligations, the daily grind of family life, and shifting them from feeling like burdens to seeing them as acts of devotion. And you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? We've all been there. We complain. We think, ugh, if only my partner would help out more. Or if my kids would just listen for 5 minutes, then I could finally feel peaceful. It's so easy to point the finger outwards and blame everyone else around us for our own frustrations.
But here's the big twist. The source asks us to stop all that. Instead of trying to change everybody else, it says true spiritual growth starts by looking inward. It's about taking a hard look at our own stuff, our own shortcomings, and working on ourselves first.
And this quote really nails it. Dutifulness is always one-sided. You are supposed to fulfill your obligations irrespective of what you get in return. Whoa. Think about that for a second. The source actually compares it to worship. You go to a temple, you offer flowers, you pray. You don't expect the statue to immediately hand you something back. In the same way, our family duties should be unconditional. It's not a transaction. It's a one-sided, heartfelt offering.
And this quote from Nietzsche just paints the perfect picture of what happens when we do this. In family life, love is the oil that eases friction, the cement that binds closer together, and the music that brings harmony. See? When you start approaching your duties with that kind of love and devotion, instead of with resentment, that love itself becomes this transformative force. It's what smooths over all the rough patches and creates real harmony.
All right, let's move on to the second big reframe, leading by living. So we've looked inward at our mindset, right? Now we're going to look outward at our actions and the incredibly powerful example they set for everyone around us, especially our kids.
The source really hammers home this timeless truth. Effective and meaningful teaching is that which is given not by speech, but by example. It's so true, isn't it? Our kids learn way more from watching what we do than from listening to what we say. I mean, you can lecture about kindness all day long, but if they see you being impatient or critical, well, which lesson do you think really sticks? Our life is the lesson. And a lot of the time, we tend to focus on giving our kids very material things. We work so hard to give them expensive clothes, the fanciest toys, get them into posh schools, and leave them property. And of course, that all comes from a place of love, no question.
But here's the challenge from the source. What about the spiritual gifts? What if the things that truly matter aren't things at all? Things like kindness, tolerance, good manners, self-dependence, solid values, and just a positive way of thinking. These are the gifts that truly shape a person for their entire life.
So it all boils down to this simple but powerful idea. The real inheritance is character, not cash. The most valuable thing we can possibly pass on is a strong, virtuous character, one that we've built through our own example. Now that's an inheritance that can never be lost or wasted.
Okay, and that brings us to our final and maybe the most profound reframe of all. This is the one that ties everything together. It's this idea. The home as the ashram. We're being asked to see our home not just as a building we live in, but as a sacred space, a place that's literally dedicated to spiritual growth.
So, do you need a cave in the mountains to practice spirituality? I mean, really. The source tackles this image head-on, and the answer is a huge no. In fact, it argues that trying to find peace in total solitude might actually be harder. Why? Because then you're just left alone with your own noisy, distracting thoughts.
Now, to really get why the home is the perfect place, we need to understand this word, sadhana. Now, a sadhana isn't just sitting down to meditate. It's any spiritual discipline or practice you do for self-refinement, for self-control, for self-enlightenment. It's basically the daily work of becoming a better, more conscious version of yourself.
And here it is. This is really the central message of this whole explainer. Your family is the best training school for your sadhana. Think about it. Your family, with all of its chaos, its joys, its demands, it's the perfect training ground. Every single interaction is a chance to practice patience. Every argument is a chance to practice understanding. Every little act of service is a moment to practice selfless love.
And this quote from Winston Churchill, which is in the source material, just reinforces this so perfectly. He said, "It is around the family and the home that all the greatest virtues are created, strengthened, and maintained." The family isn't getting in the way of virtue. It's the very place where virtue is made. It's where we learn all the big stuff: cooperation, generosity, love, day in and day out.
So where does all of this lead? What's the ultimate goal of using your family as a spiritual training ground? Well, simply put, it leads to expanding the heart.
The source lays out this beautiful path of growth. Step 1, you start right where you are, in your home, perfecting your role within the family. Step 2, as you do that with love, you start to widen your feeling of self to really truly include your family. And then, step 3, that love just keeps expanding, growing, until it can embrace all of humanity.
And you know, the reward for walking this path isn't some far-off abstract goal. It's right here, right now. As George Bernard Shaw put it, a happy family is but an earlier heaven. It's about creating that heaven on earth, right inside your own home. So, I want to leave you with this question to think about. What's one duty, just one, that you could transform into a heartfelt spiritual practice today? Maybe it's doing the dishes, or helping with homework, or just really listening when your partner talks about their day. How can you take that one simple thing and turn it into a genuine act of devotion, starting right now?